This is the third installment in our series of letting go of bitterness. The first week, we talked about defining and naming what it was that we were bitter about, what was making us angry and bitter. Because when we put a name and an identity to something, then it gives us a control over it. Last week, we talked about taking inventory on what our bitterness is actually doing to us. What harm is it causing us to be bitter? Well, this week, it's going to be probably, part one of the empathy part of getting through. And I don't even want to say over yet, but getting through our bitterness. And this is a little bit of a hard part for me, and some of you may find it easier, but it's to switch places with the person, the entity that you're bitter at. So to basically, you're trying to understand where they're coming from. So you're playing basically advocate for that person. So whatever it was that they did to hurt you, to harm you, whether or not you believe that they're legitimately sorry, they did it on purpose or whatever, but you're taking that act and you're running through your mind all of the possible reasons that you can come up with as to why would they do this to you. Why would they do it, period, but why would they do this to you? And come up with a series of reasons and then evaluate them, each one in prayer with God. Sometimes when you really are in the midst of being hurt or injured or in the after effects of it, you can only see your injury. But when you sit back and try to, I don't even want to say justify, but when you sit back and try to understand the reasoning behind it, sometimes it'll give you a little bit of empathy and sympathy. It does not mean that you accept it. It does not mean that you justify it for them, or that you're like, oh, it's okay because they only meant, that's not what I'm saying. But start to try to understand why it happened. Put some humanity on the hurt. Humanity on the hurter, but also humanity on your hurt. It will just help you to become a little bit more apt to be able to start to forgive, to start to be able to let go. I hope this helped you, and I hope that this series is helping someone in addition to me. But take care, have a blessed week. See you next week.